Hey everybody, welcome into the J.O.B. podcast. We are back. We had a 3-month hiatus, and this is episode 6, and we didn't have a title for today because I felt there wasn't one needed. I'm your co-host Dave Ford.
And I'm Todd Steele.
As you can see, my good friend here decided to show me up right away wearing a nice suit and didn't give me the memo. I show up with a t-shirt and shorts. So, no, it's all good. This is kind of something I'll allude to real quick. Being stuck at home like a lot of us have been during this pandemic. I have told my employers, I said, look, I'm the kind of guy I need to put on nice shoes, I need to put on my trousers and my nice shirt to feel like I've got a purpose.
Yes.
So that's what you're doing.
Yes. I mean, the story behind this is, back in the civil rights movement, Dr. King and everybody always wore suits when it was time to go.
Always look great. Yeah.
But if you go further in your history, you'll realize that blacks were not allowed to wear suits. They were, unless you were a preacher or you was a teacher.
So there were rules.
There were rules to it. They couldn't wear suits. And black men wanted to look like human beings. They wanted to be men. So therefore they put suits on.
Okay.
So today, I'm looking like a man today. I'm putting my suit on when I come to work.
Okay.
So every time they went to protest, they were always in suits to show people we didn't come to fight. We didn't come to riot. We didn't come to loot. We came about business. So how could you tear up anything if you were dressed up in a suit? Now, if I'm in some shorts and some tennis shoes, I can get down and do some other things. But we showed up as peaceful people. So today I show up in peace, and I'm ready to protest and just speak my mind today.
Okay. Well, for the record, I'm wearing a shirt that does say "One Love" on the bottom. So that I had with the best intentions. And no, my son got me this. Big Bob Marley fan, and man, do we need Bob Marley now?
Yes, we do.
We do need some Bob Marley right now.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, hey, I know that you got a lot of stuff. I know that you have a lot of stuff in your mind and your heart. You didn't need to make notes for this.
Yeah.
I did. Hey, full disclosure, last night I had a pretty heavy heart. And I told you last week, just for some background for everybody paying attention, I invited Ty over, was it Thursday?
Yes.
And that was the first time you and I had seen each other in 3 months. And obviously so much has happened in 3 months. So much that Davis said, gosh, do you think people even forgot about Kobe passing away?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, buddy? I think they have.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the pandemic. And then the murder of George Floyd took place. And then the riots and the protests took place. So it was just, this has been one big body blow after another in 2020. And now here we are, 42 million Americans have lost their jobs. We are in a modern day depression that now eclipses the one that everybody refers to in the history books. So we're only in the beginning of June, and we need to pray a lot because we've got 6 more months in this year. We've already had this much stuff going on. So I sat down at the desk last night and I texted you.
Yeah.
And I'm just paraphrasing here, but I reached out to Ty. I just wanted him to know that as a white male in America, I have a very, very heavy heart. And I'm willing to listen. And that is the biggest statement that I think I can make today, and I'll probably reiterate it several times, that we need to listen. We don't need to really say too much. And it just so happens I'm a great listener. And my degree is in public and cultural communication. So it's no accident when you make jokes that you say, dude, out on the street, you're kind of looked at more black than you are white anyway. And I said, that's good to know. That means that my true character is showing and that I'm not acting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Definitely. Dr. King said it best. Darkness can drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I have seen so many acts of love, with a lot of my friends. They've called, had good friends call me, text me. I was in a dark place. I was in a real bad place.
I can see that.
And people you think are your friend are really showing their true colors right now. It's to the point right now, and I hate to bring up this person's name, but it's either Trump or America, and that's how we feel. A lot of people will follow this type of leadership to the end of the world instead of saying, "Wait a minute, these people are hurting, and we are all Americans." I can't explain what it done to me to see our military brothers take a knee with protesters. I've seen police officers take a knee with protesters. I think the world right now is saying it's time out. We definitely need change. But like The Rock said, where is our leader?
Yeah.
Right now, you are still with the same rhetoric. I was so glad that Drew Brees said what he said. Did it hurt when he said it? Yes. But I knew it was going to bring about a conversation. So now you have Drew Brees adding the word "at" the most powerful man in America, which is the president, saying, no, we were wrong about this. This protest was never about a flag. It was never about politics. It was never about any of those things. It was just about the injustice that people are receiving from the police. And that's white, black, no matter who you are. Somebody has been done wrong by the police. Now, everybody doesn't have that testimony. Everybody doesn't have that story. But a majority of people can tell you some of the horror stories they have had with the police. So I'm here today to speak my mind. If I lose some friends, you really wasn't my friend, no way. If you block me, you really wasn't my friend, no way. But guess what? I'm not going to be worried about it. I'm going to praise God anyway, and I'm going to still be happy about it. That just means that you need to get out of my life. Because a lot of people couldn't understand me this week. They were so used to seeing Ty Steele, but a lot of people don't see Ty as a black man. Like, Ty, I love you, but them other black people, wait a minute, I am those people. Right. I can't take the skin tone on and off. I can't bleach it, and I wouldn't bleach it. I wouldn't do any of those things. I love the skin that I'm in, but there is so much required with being in the skin that I'm in. Right now in America, we can't say it's about Republicans and Democrats. It's about humanity. Yeah. It's about people and what's right and what's wrong. And you can come up and give me all these whataboutism. Well, what about blacks killing blacks? And what about blacks doing this? No, wait a minute. Right now, we are hurting. My house is on fire. My house is next door to yours, and it has the same rights as your house. But you keep telling me, well, what about this? Can you please put my house out before we have this conversation? Right. I mean, that's all we want is just a conversation in America. And I think right now what's going on, there are lots of conversations being had in every household. Private conversations, wives and husbands are talking, well, baby, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? And a lot of people are finding out they have different views and of course you're not going to see everything as everybody else sees it. Mm-hmm. But you're having the conversation. Right. And what happened with Drew Brees now, we're having another conversation. Mm-hmm. Drew Brees can talk to the president and the president can listen back and still feel the way he feels. I can't. But it takes a Drew Brees, it takes a Tom Brady, it takes these guys to speak out. The NFL showed up yesterday, and I was shocked. Stephen A. said he wanted to know what took him so long because we had all of these different injustices going on, and nobody never said anything. Why do we get a video now? Because now is the time to speak on it and say something.
I do want to get to the Drew Brees thing, and I know that you knew that I wanted to speak about that. Oh, yeah. But I also want to go back to you called me on Wednesday, mm-hmm. and I was really glad that you did for a lot of reasons. You and I have an unspoken language, which is hard to describe, and I don't even think I can verbalize that. We've always had a chemistry that is real, that is genuine, and is rare.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I saw your name come up on my phone, and I did get nervous because I had watched you in so much pain on social media. I had seen you go from anger to sadness to an almost of a depression, and then a rebound to back to a center. Yeah. And I told you, I said, I was really hoping the whole time that you didn't view my silence as being complicit.
Oh, yeah.
which is some of the rhetoric that's being put out there, and which is unfair to me. And you said no, and I said, dude, I just wanted you to know that I felt that you might be upset with me, and you were like, no. I said the reason for me being silent is I honestly didn't know what to say to you. I didn't know if I could make you feel any better, so I didn't want to be condescending as to think that I could help you with your pain. Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense. And a lot of people feel that way. But there are just some that's being quiet because they're scared and they know their opinion is something else. That's fine too. I always preach that I love old racism. Now, do I love it and I'm excited about it? But no, old racism told you exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
People now hide behind who they really are and what they really feel. And if you continue to listen to them, they will tell you exactly who they are. It hurt me more than anything to look at men or have men on my Facebook page arguing about what's going on in America, and these are men that my daughters look to as uncles.
Right.
And so I have to have a conversation with them about, man, is Uncle so and so, is he racist? You know, because I don't teach my kids about, hey, you're supposed to hate white people and white people over there, black people. No, if you come to my house and if I called you friend, you are my family.
Right.
So that means if you see my kids out somewhere in the public acting up, you have all rights to get in their behind because we are family. But when I need you to step up and be a man, when it's time to be a man, you can't step up and do that, and you hide behind a Facebook keyboard. And you say, but no, you're a great coach. You're this. I am a black man. Look at me.
Right.
I'm hurting right now. The only thing you can give me is Trump 2020. I don't want to hear that. I want to talk about what's going on right now.
Right.
And a lot of people don't want to talk about what's going on. Oh, the economy is great. The economy is booming. The economy is doing it. I don't care about your stinking economy. People are dying. And if this is the America that we talk about, we got to say, these are Americans dying. We can't just say these are black people. I'm so sick of being called African American. I don't want to hear I am a black man. I am an American. I was born here. I have every right that everybody else has. So when I get pulled over by the police, I expect us to get a ticket or a warning and go home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect to hear, hey, Ty, what do you have in your car? Can I search your car? For what?
Yeah.
I was speeding. Do you smell something in here? Do you see a bottle of alcohol down here? Oh, wait a minute, you're Coach Ty, you coach my kids. You good, you can go ahead and go about your business. What if I wasn't Coach Ty?
Right.
Listen, I want the same respect that every American gets. And I believe that when anybody gets pulled over, they shouldn't be racially profiled. Now, if you smell some stuff and you got some stuff, but a lot of times they say they did.
Yeah.
That's a reason to search. And of course, me being defiant, I'm like, you're not searching my car. You don't have a warrant. That's the law.
Right.
Well, they're going to do things to make that law happen. And as we've seen just around the corner in our neighborhoods, not in Panama City, you had a bunch of policemen being arrested for planting drugs on people that he pulled over. He's doing time for it now. So can you see why I feel the way I feel when it comes to police? I don't want to have to go through that. I just want to be pulled over. I'm sorry, sir. I was speeding. I'm going to officer. Hey, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I was doing 50 and a 30. I'm wrong. I apologize. I understand you got a job, but you got to give me a ticket. I just want to go home, but I don't want to be searched. But when I get pulled over by the police, I have to keep my hands on the steering wheel. Then I have to tell him everything that I'm doing. Going in the glove box to get my registration. Right. I'm doing this. I don't want to shoot nobody. I got my kids in the back seat. I have my wife sitting next to me. What do I look like a killer right now? Right. I saw a black man being gunned down. He told the police officer, I have my concealed permit. I have a gun in the car. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get my registration. And the officer shot. Here's a news flash. If you are scared to police these streets, don't be a policeman. Find something else to do. If you put that badge on and you are totally scared, find something else to do. Me, I was never a policeman and I wasn't going to the military. I was like, I don't want to want to kill nobody. I don't want to pull nobody over and give them a ticket. That's not the job I want to have. I'm not built for that.
Right.
I care about human rights and I care about people too much, and I'll probably let everybody go. I know you was going fast, but listen, just slow down. Now, I'm not gonna get. I'll be the person to give out the least amount of tickets,
Right.
because I care about people, and I want people to have that same care that I have for them. I always give back. I give myself.
Well, that draws a parallel. I just wanted to point this out to how you and I handled our classrooms.
Oh, yeah.
We were the ones that were not writing kids up. We weren't keeping up with the. What's it called? 'Cause there's no quota.
It was definitely a quote.
Did you think so?
It was definitely a quote.
You and I were the disciplinarians that decided it was more important to teach than it was to write up kids, and we did catch flack for that.
Oh yeah.
The crazy thing is, we're also the same guys where I just had a former student, in Walmart last week. One of the ones, and I'm not going to say his name, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but oh my gosh, I was hard on this kid. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I beat myself up. But then he lifted me up last week without not even knowing it. I had my back turned. I didn't know he was there. He said, Coach Ford. And I turned around, and there he is. And in my mind, I went, oh my gosh, why is he happy to see me?
Yeah.
And then he was there too, and he walked away, and man, my heart was full.
Yeah.
Because I said, you have no idea how hard I was on that kid. And I even had a parent conference with his dad. We had some real heart-to-heart conversations.
Yes.
And for him to come up to me, and he could have walked right by. Now, I've had plenty of students know that I was there, and I didn't let them know that I knew they were there, just to see how they felt about me.
Mm.
And they walked on by.
Yeah.
And this one had the same chance. And he stopped and made a point, and I shook his hand and I hugged him.
Yeah.
And I just wanted him to know in that moment that it was never anything personal.
Yep.
It was always about just want to make sure everything's on the up and up.
Mm.
And so it's little moments like that where you're like, can we get there in America?
Yeah.
Can we? And you and I, when we had our conversation tonight, and Demi was here too, we had a great conversation. It was
We should have cut the cameras on,
yes,
and let everybody see that conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
Because those are the conversations inside of your home, all through America,
Definitely.
you need to be having.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter the color of your skin. What matters is that these conversations are taking place and that they're moving forward and not back.
Yeah, we got to move forward. Hey, Coach Gear. I see you on there with the wave on Instagram. I see all of y'all. Monique, Tamika, I see all of y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? I see all of y'all. Thank y'all. I got a lot of people on here today. Oh, man.
Are they saying we're doing a good job so far?
Yeah, hey,
anybody mad?
Everybody's giving me haze. Everybody's giving me haze. Nobody gave me anything bad yet. Listen, we can start. Let's just talk about Panama City.
Okay.
Let's talk about Panama City, Florida. I got my little notes right here. I want to be right today. Rutherford High School, 1993.
Okay.
Had a good friend named TJ. TJ got into an altercation at the store down the street from Rutherford High School during lunchtime. Him and another young man got into a fight. The young man pulled out a gun, shot TJ several times in the back. It was deemed self-defense, and the boy ended up getting about 2 years in prison. I think he did a year, and his dad moved him down south. Backdrop to this story is that young man that shot him, his father was a Bay County sheriff officer, and the kid wasn't reported a runaway. He had ran away and he had took his dad's gun. Never was reported. Here we have TJ at school getting in a fight with a young man, and they're fighting. TJ's getting the best of him. He pulls a gun out. TJ runs down the alley. He's shot several times in the back. And they call that self-defense. I can't explain how much agony and pain and how much our lives did not matter at that particular moment. To see this young man who had so much life, do we get in fights in school? Kids fight all the time. Just a simple fight. and you pull a gun out and you kill him, and the kid is only charged with like self-defense and gets basically a slap on the wrist. Dad takes him down south. He starts his life over. TJ life ends that day. He has a mom who's in agony. He has a brother who's in agony, and that's some stuff you just don't get over.
Right.
That hurt. That hurt, and I'm like, man, we really don't matter at all. I mean, how do you call it self-defense when somebody is running away from you? You pulled out a gun, you got rid of your threat, he's not charging back at you, and you shoot him in the back several times. Panama City has some stuff that has been covered up for a long time. And this is why people feel the way they feel in Panama City. But we've been made to be quiet about a lot of things. Let's go back and let's go a little bit further. Eric Henley, 1995. Eric was a good man. He got in trouble. And there was an old flyer out, an old warrant for his arrest out that said that it put something on there, might be armed and dangerous, which was a complete lie. So he takes the police on a high-speed chase. Mm-hmm. He's 19 years old. Is he wrong for a high-speed chase? Yes, he's running. But he has his girlfriend in the car who's pregnant at the particular time. The car finally stops. The man finally stops. He gets out the car. He starts running. Police shoot him a few times in the back and kill him. Then they find out he has no gun, and the flyer that they had was outdated. The sheriff at this particular time, and everybody knows this, was Guy Tennell. All the officers got off on this case. All of them. The black community wanted to have a conversation with Guy Tennell. He refused to have that conversation, and then went on and had a great political career. These are the conversations that need to be had and need to be talked about, because there is a community of people to this day that do not trust the police because of what they have done to us in our past. So when a murder or a crime goes on in a black neighborhood, nobody is up in arms to say, hey, I know what happened. No, we don't trust you guys. You all have a code, we have a code, we ain't gonna say nothing. How do you shoot a man, a young man, in the back with a child on the way who had that child ended up being a boy that has to grow up with hatred in his heart now because you guys killed my daddy and my daddy was unarmed. Mm-hmm. But we're supposed to understand that. Like, okay, if you kill somebody as a police officer and you know there is a young child involved, don't you think you should go back and see about that child? Don't you think it should be things that's done or set up for that child? Don't you think there should be some talking going on? Let me keep eyes on them in school because we have done something here. I understand the police have a hard job and it's their job to protect and do everything that they can. And listen, they're going to make those mistakes. Do I want police? Heck yeah, I want police. We gotta have something.
We have to.
But the thing is, we got to have these conversations. Panama City. Listen, I know all some of the leaders that I'm talking about, you guys were in office when all of this was going on. These are the things that we need to talk about. Because I haven't forgotten. I'm 43 years old. And I remember it just like it was yesterday.
Right.
I'll never forget. Then we can go into the 2000s with Martin Anderson. Here's Martin Anderson in prison, in a juvenile detention center. And the methods that they had did not work. But listen, everybody in that particular case got off too. There was blacks and white people involved in that heinous act right there. Mm-hmm. And they all got off. But the only thing they did say was, we're going to shut down all these juvenile detention centers because they're not effective. Well, you got a man that's running and he's exhausted and he tells you he can't go no more. And he's standing up there and you keep shoving ammonia tablets up his nose to wake him up. And then make him run again and he's telling you he can't go. So eventually, they killed him. And then the medical examiner deemed it as he had sickle cell trait. And they say the sickle cell trait caused a reaction which caused him to die. These are the things that we need to talk about. These are just like injustices that have went on in this town. And people tell you hey, just get over it. You know, how do you get over something like that?
One of the final thoughts I wrote down last night was, is this about a hard shutdown of society as we know it? Because that's what we do with our cell phones, right? When they're not working. We say, just do a hard shutdown. That's what we do with our computers. Just do a hard shutdown. Obviously, it's a metaphor. But when I say that, what I mean is, do we tear down the judicial system? Do we tear down the political system? And the really crappy thing, that the next sentence I wrote down was, I find myself generating more questions than answers these days.
Yeah.
It's obvious that we need procedural changes. It's obvious that we need to have a different way of thinking. We need a different way of tactical training in the police force. One positive thing that I have seen through the latter part of this week was there are the cops coming out that are making posts saying, look, I denounce everything that has taken place with police forces that have been charged and lost their jobs. I'm here to tell you, this is my experience, this is how I deal with it, this is my face. They're being transparent because, like you said, we need police. We must have them. There are tons of great cops out there. It's in my family.
Yeah.
But we do need systemic, we do need procedural changes. And I'm not the guy that knows how to do that. But I will be the guy that'd be happy to sit down and go to meetings and have these things bounced off of me and say, okay, well, bring this up. What can we do? And again, I feel like my biggest role in most of this is listening.
Yeah.
Now, I can come up with questions till the cows come home because I'm a journalist. That's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's the listening part that as white America, we do need to sit down. Obviously, I've been listening very intently to every word you're saying. I'm hanging on every word because I'm getting educated about things I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's how you do in school. That's how you do in your job. How do you get better? You listen, you absorb, you take it in, and then you adopt what you feel can make you better. You get to the feelings part in America right now, and you can't tell someone how to feel. Okay. You can, and we need to look at facts that are out there, but you also can't quantify the feelings. I would never tell you, Ty, that I know how you feel. Number one, it's ridiculous. Number one, it's narrow-minded and uneducated for me to say that. But from human to human, I'm never going to know how you feel. I'm never going to know how the black culture feels. I only know how I feel. I only know how I see the world. And I'm happy to say that I see the world differently than a lot of the people who share the same skin color.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I got like that. I don't question it. And I mean, having said that, do I have more work to do? Of course I do. I don't have it figured out. I found out things about myself this week and that's something that, if you don't mind, I wanted to give you a little background on an epiphany I had this week. Yeah. And for you English nerds out there, the epiphany is something that's not talked about very often, and that is a sudden thought that you have in your mind that you didn't previously have, and it helps you move forward. It's always a positive thing. And so my epiphany was, it goes hand in hand with what happened with Drew Brees. Yeah, I mean, we could digress and tell everybody what happened, but I think you need to do your own research on that. If you don't know what happened, please look it up. Please look at every quote, every word. Do not paraphrase, because the meanings will get lost. But as far be it to say is this. Obviously, from a football perspective, I have a high respect for Drew Brees. From a human aspect, by all accounts, he's been a model citizen. He's a model father, husband, teammate. There are many different ways you can look at this. From a journalist standpoint, it was a very slippery slope question. He answered it. He answered it honestly. And there's different ways you can look at that. So, skipping ahead though, I'm driving. And at this point, Drew Brees was getting crucified, just like Colin Kaepernick had gotten crucified.
Yes.
So I started seeing parallels. My mind was going, okay. And then I thought to myself, wow, in this moment, I feel offended. I feel attacked and discredited because I can relate in a lot of ways to Drew Brees. So this was my epiphany. Was that moment in a very, very small way, and I really mean in a small way, is that what it feels like to be Black in America?
Every day. Every day. Every day. I had a guy on my Facebook page that played football with all of us, and I won't call his name out. But he went on every day trying to prove how wrong we are. And to the point to where I made him feel bad about something. I made him feel bad about himself. He's like, you are judging me. How could you as a Christian judge me? And I said, welcome to what it's like every day being a Black man. I did not one time tell you that you are racist. I didn't say that. Never came out of my mouth. But he took it that way. Mm-hmm. And he was so offended. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to let him know, as a Black man, I can't get offended. I have to be at work. I got to keep my nose up. I got to keep a smile on my face, even though people are beating me down every day. I worked at a company here in Panama City. I gave them 10 years of my life. Company. I won't even drink Pepsi right now. So y'all read in between the lines on that. Right. I gave them 10 years of my life, and every day I walked up in there, I felt less than a man. The way they talked to me, the way they treated me, the way I was disciplined, the way I was handled, the way it went on, the way I was paid, the pay structure, it was all wrong. And every person that's working at that company right now can attest to everything that I'm talking about. They have discriminated on minorities at that company since it has been created. Recently, they just got rid of a woman who is just, she is the greatest human being in the world, but she is a part of the LGBT community. She's a great woman. She is a woman who worked her behind off, but she was discriminated against the same company that did the same exact thing to me. And when I left, I told them, I said, it's a shame that in 2014, you guys still haven't had a Black supervisor here. Heck no, I would not come back when they called me HR. I said, you guys need to fix some things here. 2 weeks later, one of my good friends became a supervisor. He was one of the first Black supervisors at this particular company, but it's so much hell that he has to go through just being a Black man in that particular company. And I got tired of it. I said, I'm not finna go anywhere where I feel less than a man. I can't take it anymore. I mean, I got some great commentary too. I really need to speak on. Aquila said, police can't post memes standing against police brutality. Police officers have to stand in front of their sergeant, their partners, their judges, and say it. There's been a lot of folks on here. I seen a Parker police post some stuff about a woman that he wished that she would get punched in the stomach. And I was like, wow. Because the woman was pregnant. And it threw me off. I'm like, what is wrong with people? And then you post these things like we can't see it. Like we ain't gonna fight back. Mm-hmm. People are tired of it. I'm telling you right now, all y'all little people that want to make little racist comments, especially on my page, people are screenshotting this stuff left and right. I would be surprised if any of you have a job on Monday. You got to start figuring out that we're not going to fight the way you guys fight. I'm telling you, I'm not going to put hands on you. I'm not going to keep giving you these tongue lashes. I'm not going to do it anymore. But what I will start doing is I'm going to start boycotting your businesses. I got a place right now I'm not going to buy a car from no more. I don't even put their name on glass anymore, but I'm not going to go there just because of the rhetoric of this one particular person. And I've been trying to ignore him for so long until I just say, you know what? He is racist. He is. When you go on your post and you talk about blacks and, you don't say their names, but you like, it's going to be Trump 2020. They just want their food stamps and their tax checks, and they'll be all right again.
So those were the actual words?
Those were the actual words. that this particular person said, and I lost all respect for him. But guess what? I didn't delete it. I didn't block it, because I'm telling you, I want you to see me blessed. And when I'm blessed, my people are going to be blessed. We'll never again be what you think we should be. I asked him the other day, and I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people can attest to it, and if I offend you, you need to check something within yourself. Every time we see a MAGA hat, we see racism. We don't look at a MAGA hat as making America great again. When was America great for us? When? Slavery? Before slavery? After slavery? Civil rights movements? In the 70s when I was coming up? In the 80s and 90s? 2000s? No, we are having the same conversations in 2020. So when has America been great for us? I needed Drew Brees to say what he said the other day. So if somebody could tell Drew Brees, your grandfathers, and I respect the service. I'm proud of the service. Whenever I see a veteran, thank you for your service. Because I can't do that. I didn't do it. But Drew Brees' grandfathers came home to a hero celebration. My great-grandfather fought in the World War. He came home to be called a boy and pushed out a bus and figure out your own life. And then he was an N-word anytime he walked into the store. That's what he came home to. But this is America. This is, at this particular time right now, when I look at the flag, I can't look at it and have so much pride for it. Because right now, it's not a representation of what it really is.
Okay.
And I think a lot of black folks feel like that. I was riding over here, and I was just looking at the American flags hanging. And I used to feel so much pride about myself when I seen that flag. But right now, when I look at it, I just want to cry. Because America's not doing what America said it was going to do and be for everybody.
Thank you for bringing that up. That was going to be one of the things I really want to get into today. Because past 2 days, I've been wanting us to talk about things that other people aren't. Like, I don't want us to just keep spouting and going backwards, because I don't believe that's going forwards. And so, thank you for bringing that up. And this is multifaceted for me, and I think it should be complicated, because in America it is complicated. It's always been complicated. It's never been this way or that way.
Right.
That is at the heart of who we are as Americans. That's what's in our Constitution. Now, I know it says that all men are created equal, which that's a myth. Yeah, that's a myth. The flag. Demi and I had a really, we've had so many deep conversations, and again, I wish you were around. Because you can't just regenerate that stuff, you know?
Yeah, you can't bring it back.
Flags came up. American flag came up, and then this morning we talked about the rebel flag. And so I drew something in my head, had another epiphany this morning. I said, wait a minute. So you ready for me to blow your mind here? I said, is that one of, or maybe the reason that the black culture has such a deep problem with that Southern rebel flag? I said, and she's like, what do you mean? I said, okay, hear me out. Same colors. It's red, white, and blue. It's got stars, white stars on top of blue.
Okay.
And then there's the red. I said, so you and I don't see the flag the same way the black culture does. And I said, and there's the funniest side to this for me. I said, instantly, when I see that flag, I think of Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite TV shows growing up. That's the first time, that's how I was introduced to it.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the side of the General Lee, right?
Exactly.
So that is where the progress for me has started to come, just in the last few days of, and I told you this, I'm a patriot, I'm a proud American, and I see the flag differently than you do. I know that without having to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
I know that the black culture overall does not see the flag the same way white America does.
Oh, yeah.
Having said that, we need to be okay with these conversations that we don't see them the same.
Yeah.
We don't need to be afraid that, oh my gosh, well, if I don't think like they think,
Yeah.
then I'm going to be ostracized.
Oh, yeah.
Which leads me to my next point, which is dangerous. when you say you needed Drew Brees to say it, I understand what you mean when you say it. I totally get what you mean.
Oh yeah.
Where it gets dangerous, where I'm starting to think, and I hope that other people are thinking bigger picture, is that there is a section of society that says, well, you must all think the way that we think, and if you don't, then you're wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that is called totalitarianism.
Oh yeah.
That is a very ugly and really horrible word that the worst dictators this world's ever seen thought that way.
Oh yeah.
So I do get scared when we're on this slippery slope. When again, Drew Brees said something that was insensitive, and I get that. I do. I get it. However, he answered honestly.
Oh yeah.
So when we're asking people to answer us honestly, but then on the other side, whoa, don't say that.
Yeah.
And I know you want people to answer you honestly, but there is a lot of faction of society that says, not if it comes out that way.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
And we as Americans, we love our free speech, right?
Yeah.
But then there are rules for a certain section of society that says, yeah, you can be free speech, but you can't say this, and this.
Exactly.
How is progress ever going to be made if we can't be honest with each other and say, well, that offends me, and what you say offends me? How can we get in the middle and understand each other? How can we get understanding, but not crucify the other one for having those thoughts in the first place?
Well, the thing is with Drew Brees, like I said, I was glad he said it because a lot of Americans had that same sentiment.
Yes.
They felt like Drew Brees felt.
Right.
Now, when it was brought to Drew Brees' attention that black folks fought in World War I too, but didn't come home with a hero's welcome, he was like, wait a minute. Because he is in his own bubble, and that's all he has seen. And so, what our president did when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling was he made it about the flag and being patriotic instead of saying, well, Colin is kneeling because of police brutality. And then he did the most patriotic thing he could. He asked a Marine, well, a Marine said he felt like that was disrespectful that he was sitting down.
The Green Beret.
Yeah, the Green Beret. He called him and said, hey, I want to have a conversation. Let's sit down and talk. And then he said, you know, I felt it disrespectful when you were sitting down, but why don't you kneel? When we have a fallen comrade, we kneel. He was like, so won't you kneel? That's the most patriotic thing you can do. And he did exactly that. And when it was a peaceful protest, they didn't want the peaceful protest. He's disrespecting the flag. No, why is he kneeling? Why is he kneeling? I told you a long time ago in those conversations, I said he is going to be on the right side of history. It does not feel good today for him because he's without a job. He sacrificed his job. He did those things. But in the end of the day, he's going to be on the right side of history. Now the NFL is like, we need to bring him back. They can't come out and say his name. I understand Roger Goodell was like, we were wrong when we were telling our players not to protest. You can't say Kaepernick's name because it's probably going to be another lawsuit. So he couldn't mention his name, but to find out that in the background, Roger Goodell was like, you guys really need to get him a job. Y'all really need to hire him. But the owners got together and said, well, that's going to kill our bottom line. We're going to lose 20% of ticket sales, and we don't want to lose that. I was like, where was the one owner to stand up and say, so what? I mean, even now, Jerry Jones, all you Dallas Cowboy fans, he's telling them if they kneel, he is going to penalize them. So guess what? I wouldn't be a Cowboys fan to save my life.
Well, but this was the same guy that went out there arm in arm with his team after he said that.
Yep.
Jerry Jones is crooked. He's as crooked as they come.
He is beyond.
And I'm going to call out Roger Goodell, dude. He's a hypocrite.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Exactly.
For him to come out and make this video post yesterday and try to exonerate himself.
Oh yeah.
Stop it. Just stop it. No,
get on the deck. Get on the coach.
Well, and this is something that I spoke out loud in the bathroom this morning. I had enough because I'm like, this is stupid to me. It's too late now.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get out in front of this, which you have every opportunity to, I was begging for someone to speak up because I've told you my viewpoints. They're very conflicted.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. They're very conflicted but honest at the same time. he had 4 freaking years
Yeah.
to get out ahead of this, and now you want to do it?
Yeah. I mean,
It's too late to say, oh, well, it turns out the whole time we should have been more open-minded.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
it's just, it leaves you,
Oh yeah.
it leaves you smirking, it leaves you feeling resentful, it leaves you feeling sarcastic,
Hey,
and anything but fulfilled.
I get it. You know, listen, right now, everybody was like, oh man, Kanye West is out protesting. He donated $2 million. I don't care what Kanye West did.
No.
Kanye West turned his back on what I feel like his community a long time ago. And it gets to the point where we got to start calling these folks out when they sell their soul. And they get a lot of comments. You got Tamika, she said, Dave, being honest is key when you're talking about conversations. But there are also things called tact. There's always a way to discuss topics honestly and respectfully. They didn't have a conversation with Kaepernick. They just assumed.
Well, okay, for me, there's 2 sides to that. Colin has been very quiet.
Definitely.
If people say that he's done everything right, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah.
He has not done everything right. I happen to think, and I heard this on a podcast this morning too, I don't think he meant for this to get to where it has happened. I think that he did mean to make a statement. He did mean to raise awareness. But he did not mean for it to get so big. He did not have a plan for when it got so big.
Oh yeah.
And he had no idea that he would end up losing his career.
Oh yeah.
He needs to get more vocal. He does need to get behind microphones. He does need to take more interviews. I think his silence is not okay.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot just sit behind something that you started 4 years ago. If you're going to be a voice for the voiceless, then be the voice.
Oh yeah.
And that is my criticism. I very much disagree with wearing the Fidel Castro T-shirt that day, talking about someone who oppressed people. That seemed very redundant to me, but I understand that that's kind of ticky-tacky. But again, there's a big discussion that still needs to be had about that. And again, only he can clear that up for us, dude. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Only he can help us understand more. And how are we supposed to get clarification when he's quiet?
Yeah.
He's not talking. And the only time he did is when he did that pseudo tryout that wasn't even a tryout that got so messed up with his PR team.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, and you know that. I don't want to get sidetracked on Colin Kaepernick because I think that he's definitely a part of what's going on. But America has bigger problems than the
Than him not playing right now.
Yes. I think him not playing football is a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
It's not about football. It's not about football. And I know it wasn't about football with him. I have really tried to open my mind more to the statement that he made. And I do understand why. I do. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of gray areas that only he can clear up. And I really, really hope that sometime people come out and say, okay, it's time for me to speak.
I know, but you're gonna think maybe he's not a good speaker. And then sometimes silence is the loudest thing you can do. Action. His actions are making everybody look now. And how ironic is it that he takes a lead? And what's triggering the world, like every state in the United States right now is protesting with, I forgot how many other countries.
Yeah.
Because of what happened to Mr. Floyd.
Right.
It is amazing right now what's going on. We'll be seeing it in this time. Like, he has stamped his name on it, and everybody that was wrong about it. And it's time for him to move on and say, okay, we need to make it happen. We need to fix this. And until we get leadership that says we're going to fix this, because to hear George Floyd is looking down now because of this great economy. George Floyd can't work. He's gone. He's been taken from us. Listen, we're going to have the greatest economy in the world. The economy was trending great when President Obama left, and it trended better when President Trump got in. We were trending to be great. We are the greatest nation in the world. We are going to be great when it comes to our economy. Let's talk about human lives.
Right.
That's what I want to talk about. Let's talk about Addie Mae Collins, who's 14 years old. Cynthia Wesley, who was 14 years old. Carol Roberson, 14, and Carol Denise McNair, who was 11 years old. 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
So when someone came to me this weekend and said, or this week and said, how can you guys go out and loot and do these things, and you guys are tearing up your own things? Who do you think taught us how to write and bomb, and protest, and do all of these things? You talk about Black Wall Street, where there were black millionaires and the whole city was burned down. Black Wall Street, a beautiful thing that was destroyed by America. Let's go further when we even talking about the flag and the Confederate flag and all of those different things. Slaves were told to fight in the war for their freedom. Mm-hmm. They went and fought.
They were given the option, right?
And came back and was still a slave. They were still a boy. And then George Washington put a statement out, made a law that said no slave could become a soldier. And the British heard this. They said, man, slaves fought well. We want them. Y'all get out, escape, come to us and fight in us in our war. You guys will be free. Which made George Washington go back and say, oh, no, the slaves can't be soldiers. And listen, we have racist people on our money. And we're supposed to just deal with it and be happy about everything. It's time for it. Like, listen, I'm not telling you to go change the dollar. The dollar is what it is right now. But in the South, they get so happy and so hype about the Confederate flag, this, and the third. I don't see that flag that way, because when the KKK marched on my grandmother and them, that's all they had was that Confederate flag. Every time they're talking about the South would arise again, they bring out that Confederate flag, and a black person is supposed to just sit there and deal with it.
Right.
Why? Why are we not having these conversations? Why are you people hiding? Why are you hiding and not saying anything, but instead you want to give me a whataboutism? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? These athletes are making hundreds of millions of dollars. They need to sit there, pamper itself down somewhere. At the end of the day, they are a black man in America. If they get pulled over, I don't care about how many hundred millions of dollars you got. You are just like me. Michael Vick got more time for killing an animal, killing dogs, than most people, than a police officer will spend a day in jail for killing a human life, whether it's black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever. Michael Vick did more time than they did.
Right.
So I'm telling you, there is something wrong with our system. And do I want the police to be, do we want to get rid of the police? No, I don't want to get rid of the police. But I think there needs to be more training. I saw something today that says, and I got my barber license, you have to get 1,500 hours to become a licensed barber. Mm-hmm. You only need 800 hours to be a policeman. 800 hours. And then, what type of psychological evaluations are they going through? What is their mindset? How are they in school? A lot of guys become police because they was bullied in school, and now they want to be bullies back. You can't bully the people that you are here to protect. You cannot put the military on your own people. Because when I see a soldier, I have so much respect and so much pride. I was in tears when I seen the soldiers. Like, they were lined up across the protesters, and they were lined up in front of the police. They were all lined up in front of each other, and like it was about to go down. Then everybody just took a knee and looked at each other and got up and hugged each other. How do you think a black soldier feels when he's told to go to D.C. and gas his own people? How? When he can't get the same rights that the person that he's gassing gets. Just because he has a uniform on right now. Oh, I got so much pride and so much respect for you. I love you to death. But when you take that uniform off, you are a black man in America. Let's go back to the O.J. Simpson trial. O.J. Simpson was one of those things that black people was like, we need a victory. Now, it don't matter how guilty he is and how guilty he looks. When O.J. Simpson got off, I was like, yes, finally. Finally. But what was my mindset? Two of my friends had just been killed and gunned down by the police, and there was nothing that was done for it. Or not by the one of them was gunned down by a police officer's son, and nothing happened to him. That was my mindset, right? I wanted justice any way we can get it. I wanted to see a black man win, but when you start looking at OJ, you be like, OJ didn't even like black people.
He's on record with that.
Yeah. So why am I cheering for him? Now let's go back to the little young lady. What's her name? What's that girl's name that I put a post up and I said she is irrelevant?
You mean? I know you're talking about, but yeah, we should have had a name ready for her. In all fairness, I have not listened to that yet, but
you gotta listen to it.
Yeah,
you gotta listen.
By your reaction, I put two and two together.
And listen, she says what?
I know that she said that she does not believe in martyring George Floyd.
Candace Owens.
Okay, Candace Owens.
Candace Owens says what white supremacists and racists want to say. That's why she is revered. That's why everybody loves her, because they really want to say what she says, but they can't. And she is a hired prop designed to say the things that white supremacists want to say.
So you don't believe she actually believes that?
She is paid to do this. This is her claim to victory. Candace Owens is what's my guy name? She's Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. That's her all day. She has sold her soul out just to say what she want to say and get an uproar. And then you have somebody go, oh my God, Candace for president. Her thoughts are the thoughts of a white supremacist. She's been told what to say. She married a white man, which I have nothing. That's fine. I don't care about that at all. But she has a hate for black men. She hates black men. I don't care what you do as a black man. She hates you. And you can see that every time those words come out of her mouth. Now, I don't know what happened to her in her family history.
I was going to say, what's her resume like?
Yeah, well, listen, she said that there is no racism in America. And she will not be a part of the problem when they say that blacks are being discriminated against, and she's not going to accept that. But then when you look in her history, she sued her high school for racism. But racism doesn't exist in America. She is a hired prop. She's being told exactly what to do. She's doing it for fame, she's doing it for money, and she's doing it for clout. Right now, she's a hired prop. And when they get tired of props, they get rid of them. Hence Jason Whitlock. He was a doggone prop on TV saying what everybody else wanted to say, and he is gone now. But when they are done using you, you are out the door. She was a prop, and as a black man, I refuse to be a prop. You think about it, they took our young boys back in the days, and I know I'm rambling here, and I got a lot to say, but they took our young boys back in the day, and they painted numbers on them, and they made them get in the ring and box each other. They were probably 5 or 6 years old, but they were hired props meant to entertain. Every time an athlete is told to close his mouth, he is a hired prop that they want to be quiet and is only told to be there to entertain. I'm telling you now, I'm not here to entertain you. I can get up and get ready to preach in front of the church, and I'll tell them quickly, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to give you what thus says the Lord. That's what I'm here to do. But a lot of folks want to keep them as just entertainment. The Fox News lady that told LeBron to just shut up and dribble. But when Drew Brees said something, she said, oh, he has the right to his opinion because she feels like LeBron James is a hired prop. So every time you tell an athlete to shut up or you're a pampered superstar, what are you complaining about? You got millions of dollars. That's what you are telling them. They are a hired prop. And last time I checked, I don't belong to no man but God.
What's your feeling on the faction of society that says that black cops are Uncle Toms?
It's a lot of black folks that feel that a lot of black cops are Uncle Toms. That's like the most unpopular job to have because you are conflicted because if you didn't have that badge on, you would be treated just like I'm being treated. But because you put that badge on, you took an oath to do what you're supposed to do, and you guys are supposed to be brothers. Now, I think it would be a good thing if we start having more minorities as cops, and as I would say cops, just as policemen, to come police their own neighborhoods. So if I was born and raised in Bay Harbor and I want to be a policeman, I should be able to police Bay Harbor and let me have a supervisor with me and stuff. But that way, when I see Joe, who I know is going to be drunk on the side of the corner store, he's not going to mean any harm to anybody. He's just drunk and he's going to walk on home. That doesn't mean I'm going to pull up on Joe and slam him to the ground and hurt him, because I understand the neighborhood. Right now, our policemen need to get out of those cars, stop trying to get tickets, and walk around the neighborhood. Start realizing the people that are a part of the neighborhood.
Right.
And that's one big thing we have with policemen. Because you take a guy that's young out of the police force and prop him right into a neighborhood that he doesn't know anything about. And he's probably scared to death because he wants to go home every day, just like I want to go home every day. So it's either going to be my life or his, and that's what his thinking is. So we've got to start putting people, and you're right, Tasha, judges and lawyers, we've got to start putting people in places from where they're from, or come get familiar with the community. Before you can become a police officer, that's just part of the training. We're going to take you around this neighborhood and let you get familiar with the people.
Have you corrected any of the young men that you've coached that happen to be black if they say that a black cop is a sellout? Have you told them that
Yes,
that's not the case?
Oh yeah, I've corrected them all, and then I try to take them to meet those police officers, and I encourage those. I was like, listen, they need to see a face like theirs to understand that the police isn't bad. So I beg police, hey, come talk to my football team, or come talk to my classroom, come talk to these young men that I got, because they need to understand. That's one of the things that I want to do. I want to have a roundabout when we get together. We take all the young teenagers and we take all the police and we put them together and we have real conversations. What do I do when I get pulled over? What do I do when this happens? Those are conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
But of course, you want to have people that feel racist about policing.
If anybody's having trouble with the feed right now, obviously, if you live in the area, we have some extreme weather that's come through with the outer bands of that tropical storm. So please be patient with us. The feed might drop and come back on. Please feel free to chime in. A lot of you are.
Yes.
And if there's something that you would like us to touch on that hasn't been said already, I do want to stress that. Like I don't want us to be going backwards and getting into some sort of crazy shouting match that we don't need to get into. If it's something that is forward thinking, please do that, because usually we don't put rules on anybody, but this is forward thinking conversation today. That's what we came to this table to do.
Oh yeah.
And I think so far I feel really good about it.
And then if you think about it, a lot of these guys that are police officers, I mean, a lot of the people that are on my feed right now, their fathers are police officers. Tamika said her father is a police officer and one of the best people you would know. He has heard the same thing, but he is strong in his identity and big on humanity. He is that cop that walks through the neighborhood. He knows everyone en route. And I got him on Snapchat, and I watch him all the time interacting with the community. Aquita said that her son is a police officer who honors his uniform. And she's been a big person when it came to communicating to everybody about the social injustices that we go through. Like, Aquita is beyond smart. Like, she on a whole other level when it comes to that. And her son is a police officer. So, when people say blue lives matter to her too, because her son is a police.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's also something that's getting kicked around a lot, and something I believe in is the fact that you can be supportive and empathetic. That's an important word we're going to talk about in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the black experience, the black mindset, and you can still support the police force. You can still support the firemen in the military. You can do both.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, getting back to the point I made earlier, the slippery slope of the single mindset. We can't get there, because if we get there, we're not Americans anymore. We're not a democratic society anymore. When we're being told that you must act, speak, and do, and say, and think the same way as everybody else. We're no longer individuals. We have to embrace the fact that we are individuals.
Oh yeah.
And we come from different places, that we come from different mindsets. You and I come from two completely different sides of the tracks.
Exactly.
And we own that from the first day that you came to me about wanting to do a podcast.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of our relationship and our friendship, is that we don't front, we don't say something that it's not.
Yeah.
We don't go out of our way to frame a picture of who we are. That's probably why we're not popular.
Yeah.
That's probably why we're not all over the place and we're not viral.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest here. We don't have a shtick. We don't have a tagline. We're not trying to get out there in the mainstream media and say, hey, pay attention to us.
Yeah.
We are real, and we're finding out that when you're real, you're not really popular.
I mean, you think about it. We were two of the, and I'm bragging on it. We was two of the best teachers at this particular time, at this particular school.
All right.
And it is amazing, you know, that we're not there now. You know, part of it's about choice.
Yes.
Some of it's other things came into play. But when you've done some of the work that we've done and it just goes unnoticed and people don't appreciate what you do, but your students appreciate it, that's all I need.
Exactly.
Renee Roy said a great thing right here. She said there should be police programs in high school, just like ROTC,
Yes.
and officer incentives to keep people in their community to be policemen and women. That is a smart idea, Renee, and that's how you police your area. I mean, it's got to be done. I'm not anti-police. I'm not.
Oh, I know.
Now, when I get pulled over, am I nervous? Yes. Or when I see a police officer, yeah, do I get nervous? But I know a lot of the guys here, and a lot of the guys here that I know, they're not like that. I love Barry, who's the chief of police over in Springfield. I can't tell you how many times we sat at the football field and laughed and cut up and had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm not. If you voted for President Trump, or you still gonna vote for President Trump, I don't hate you.
No.
I don't hate you at all. That is your American right to vote for who you want to vote for. My thing is, I just want you to recognize that there is rhetoric going on that needs to cease. And if you guys and you guys have to go to him, if you want to be reelected, you got to cut this out. You got to stop doing that. And everybody loves him because they're like, well, he's not a politician, and he does this, and he just shoots from the hip, and he does what he wants. Listen, you don't hire a person. Okay, let's go to me. I've interviewed for several head coaching football jobs in Panama City, Florida. And I was told that I didn't have enough experience, or I'm young right now, just wait my turn. Like, you hire,
like you're 18 or something?
yeah. And you hire a guy to run the country who has no experience. The only leadership ability he got is he knows how to make billions of dollars.
Yeah, he's a heck of a businessman.
Yeah, so he is a great businessman, but it doesn't equal to leader.
No.
I mean, listen, and I know it hurt a lot of women fought that love The Rock. But when The Rock went at President Trump and said, "Dog, where are you? Where is our leader right
He needs
now?"
to be our president, The Rock.
The way he spoke, he showed out. Where is our leadership right now? We don't want our kids cussing. We don't want our kids running around acting crazy and calling people SOBs and doing everything. When you are the leader of this country, it has to be some respect put on your name. You have to carry yourself a certain way. The whole world is watching the United States, and they're like, that's the guy they chose. That's him. And he's up just tweeting. Instead of saying, let me get out here in my community, or get out here in these communities and figure out what's going on. And there has been an uprise against him, the mayor of Washington, D.C., or is she the mayor or the governor?
Uh-huh.
Listen, you go, girl. You heard what she did?
No, I didn't. Tell me.
She took the road that goes to the White House and renamed it Black Lives Matter Parkway.
Oh, yeah.
And then put Black Lives Matter all down the street. And I can tell you people, listen, everybody that says, well, all lives matter. Heck yeah, they matter. Black Lives Matter was supposed to have 2 on the end of it. Black Lives Matter 2. Not saying that other lives don't matter, but right now, my house is on fire, your house is right next to mine and it's chilling. So you telling me because your house is not on fire, you should pour water on my house.
Right.
So that's all we're saying right now. And just come see about us. And if you don't know, ask. But when you hop in on Facebook or you hop on social media and you get these ignorant responses to people, they're going to cuss you out and they're going to unfriend you.
My biggest problem with social media right now is it is lawless. It is the Wild West.
Yeah.
Okay, and people are losing their lives. Friends are ending friendships that have been there for 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
And there is no one saying, whoa, 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 whoa. These are the rules here. And I heard this on a podcast this morning where the guy said, you know what? I shut my phone off because it was bad for my health.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, amen.
Yeah.
I have been, for lack of a better term, policing myself on social media. And you've seen that. I haven't said much. And I also am not trying to look at a whole lot. It's toxic.
Oh, yeah.
And being a journalist for the last 25 years, it's offensive to me that what's being put out there is honest journalism.
Mm-hmm.
I trust no broadcast. I trust no talking head out there. I do all my own research.
Oh, yeah.
I do all my own reading. I check my own sources. I'm not somebody that sees one meme or two meme and whoop, hit share button. I am not a fan of sharing. Not with my food either. No, but I do want to say something that Demi brought up earlier, and that this is something that's close to her heart, and there's a lot of people. She said, I signed up to die for America and the flag and what it stands for. For me, it stands for our right to have these conversations, but I understand that not everyone sees it in that way, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it's like I told everybody. What's been taken from this right now is people are saying, well, the protesters are looting and they're doing this. And a lot of my friends gave me that argument this week. And I just told them this. I said, listen, I love your son. Your son played football for me.
Right.
When he stepped on that football field or that locker room, he became my son.
Right.
If anything ever happens to him, I'm going to tear some stuff up. I don't give a damn. Like, listen, we can get out there, we can march, but I'm gonna break some stuff. Because, you know, the days of just being Martin Luther King, I want to do a peaceful protest, and I think that's all fine and dandy. Right now, I'm like Martin X. I'm tired of it. I love people, and if you hurt somebody, like, if somebody does something to my child, I'm Samuel L. Jackson in the courtroom right now. I am. Heck yeah, I killed them, and I hope they burn in hell. That's how I feel about it. Because the justice system has failed us so many times. How many moms right now are burying their sons? You think about the Floyd family burying him, like, you can't bring him back. That hurt, that pain can't be explained. And then the officers, they're still alive. I'm going to want to cause pain. That's not right, and I know it, and I'm going to pray about that.
Right.
But for people I love, I'm going all out. You come in my house, I hope God bless you, because I got daughters here, and by all means necessary, I'm going to protect my daughters. But if you come in, you do something to my kids. Listen, my people took what they took because they had to. My grandmother told me this every day. She said, "Get your education. I don't want you to ever go through what I've been through or what I've been through." When you look at a man, white, black, you don't hold your head down. You look him dead in the eyes because you are a man. You are not a boy. The last thing I ever want to be called is boy. We was having a football practice one time, and I'm not going to say the year because I don't want to tell the coach, but the coach just broke out and told the kid, like, "You a boy. You listen to me." And we said, no, coach. Didn't do it in front of the kid. Correct the coach later on. And he was like, well, you know, that's how we talk. No, listen, that's got to be correct. No man is a boy. I don't want to be called a boy, but I'm telling you, you do something to my kids and to my family, and that's for anybody. You're going to want to tear some stuff up. And, you know, Dr. King said the the rioters and the looters and the protesters are the voices of the people that have not been unheard. So you've been picking at a scab for so long that you hadn't got checked on, and all of a sudden it's bleeding. Now, I know a lot of people out there just to do bad. I mean, I can't explain. I was looking at some of these films where all of a sudden bricks show up. Or they got boards and they got this, and they're basically saying,
that's the dangerous talking about.
we are insinuating a riot. And then when our leader tells the military to bring back order to your own people, the Americans, why are they out there protesting, Mr. President? Find out why. Find out why. You'll send a man that don't have the same rights as his partner out there to stop a protest. He's going to want to change to the other side and stand with protesters because he understands it and he gets it. So there is so much more that we can just talk about. But the pride everyone has for this country, black folks have it. We have it. But we're just not looking at the same flag you guys are looking at right now. And it's not just saying you. We're not just looking at the same flag that everybody's looking at right now. Because it means so much to them. But it was so much pain
and that's
to us.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. It's like too many things are footnotes.
Yeah.
Right now, what you just said is going to be just something that, like a raindrop outside right now, just gets blown away in the wind. And what you said is profound. I said the same thing in this house a few days ago, but nobody hears us.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's a microcosm of that makes me go, is that what it's like to be black in America? When you want to be heard so badly, we've tried with so many different words, with so many different intentions, with so many different actions, and you're not heard. And so, if more people can start having the same thoughts as I've been having,
yeah, we
can get somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the first thing I wrote on my notes last night, first two things I was saying, where do we go from here? And I double underlined we.
Yeah.
And then I said, how can I and the rest of white America do a better job of listening?
Yeah.
And these are things that not just me and you, but a room full of people need to sit there and ask these questions.
I mean, but you think about it, I always tell you, what I see right now, when somebody comes on my Facebook page and tries to tell me what it's like to be black and hadn't walked a mile in my shoes, I hear the teacher on Everybody Hates Chris. You know, the teacher was like, well, you know, you people this and you people that. That was my teachers in elementary school. They talked down on me. They didn't listen to what I had to say. And so therefore, I wasn't taught a lot of things correctly. I had already had a rough upbringing. I taught myself how to read and write.
Yeah.
And so when I get teachers who talk down on me, it's like I'm part of a system I can't trust anymore. And nobody's really listening. They're just like, you know, it's okay. I don't understand why these guys got millions of dollars and they're speaking out, because they came from this same society, the same oppression. I want to say something about Alice Walker right here. She said, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have it. And a lot of times when you're quiet and when you're silent and you think you don't have power, you have more power than you know. You're giving it up because you're not saying anything. And Dr. King said, in the end, we will be remembered not by the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. If you're my friend and you're out there in this world right now, why are you being silent? Why are you being silent? If I coach your kid, why are you being silent right now? Because I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I don't know if some of the young men I coach are going to make it home. I don't know if they're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then they can say, well, y'all got a lot of black on black crime going on. We want to deal with our community. That's going to happen, but this is the start. If we can get the people that are policing us to care about us just a little bit. Like, how do you put your knee on the back of someone's neck and you put your hands in your pocket to apply more pressure? That's what it's like every day in America for a black man. That's what it's like every day in America when I walk into a place and I see a dozen of Making America Great hats on. When I was in a restaurant yesterday, I still spoke to them. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. I'm here. I'm not running. And it's crazy that it goes on in Panama City. And I'm not blind to it. I have seen more of my white counterparts wearing American t-shirts right now. And if you want to talk about disrespect for the flag, it's not supposed to be on a t-shirt. It's not supposed to be on a napkin. It's not supposed to be a bikini. The flag is supposed to be where the flag is.
Right.
That's disrespectful to the flag. But people are using this flag to oppress other people, and they're not talking about that. So it's what they're doing in silence. When you're standing up and you're taking pictures exactly how Adolf Hitler took pictures, it's not by coincidence. That's what we're living in right now. Mm. That is the life of a black person in America every day. Every day. And then you have people that are on the jobs that really don't like you because of the way you look, but they're your boss. And so all day you get like little smart remarks and you get all smart things. And then when a black woman goes out, oh, see, I told you, black women, they're loud and they're this and they're that. Yes, they are, but when you constantly keep pushing at something and peeling layers away, eventually it's going to explode. You know, I tell people all the time, this is why, and I'll jump to like another subject here, but it's to say this, you know, being a man, let's just not say a black man, let's just say a man, but I'm speaking in terms of being a black man. You go to work every day and you're beat up and work all day. Right. You know you should be in charge or you should have this position, but they put somebody else over you and you got to deal with that hurt all day long. Then you get pulled over by the police, you're harassed there. And then you go home and you just don't have no peace at home. It's hard being a man in this country. It's hard to be a black man. I go back to the Bible when the king had concubines and he had eunuchs, or you can call them eunuch or whatever you want to call them. But you know what a eunuch is?
No, go ahead.
A eunuch is a man that, you know, the king had him around all his concubines. So in order for him to be around all his concubines, he cut off his man genitals.
Oh, yeah, okay. Game of Thrones, sorry.
Yeah, he cut them all off.
Reference, yeah.
He cut them all off.
Yeah.
So every day as a black man, I have to go to work and there's a eunuch over me. Okay. There's somebody less than a man that's over me, that's treating me like a little boy. And when you know I'm really what makes the company go. Or you know I'm really what makes the football team go. Mm-hmm. Listen, guys, I love all of y'all in Panama City. I love y'all to death. But if you want me to be on your football coaching staff, I need to be a coordinator or better. The days of me being an assistant coach, and that's not no disrespect to anything, but I have worked through the ranks. Mm-hmm. The days have got to stop when we just start having the little league black coach on the sideline just to police the black kids. That's got to stop. They got to start seeing more people of color in authority. The school board has got to get more diverse. It's got to get more diverse. How are you dealing with minority children right now? When you have the same people who's been in office forever and ever and ever, and there is no change. And I taught at North Bay Haven, which is far superior education-wise, or us teaching our kids than what a lot of our county students are getting. Because there is so much going on in the school that we need to change some things. And I'm not trying to knock somebody, I'm really not trying to knock them, but we got to get some diverse people on our staff. Me teaching at North Bay Haven, and I already said the name, so just put it out there. I was next to a teacher every day that had something racist to say. She told all her students that slavery wasn't bad for black people. It was over-exaggerated.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me to wrap my head around.
But then you see your other students who are from different backgrounds and say, oh, that's typical for that background. I'm like, wait a minute, do you want me to get involved in racist conversation? A man who's been discriminated against my whole life? You think I'm going to have that conversation with you? These teachers need to be held accountable. So there needs to be some diverse stuff, classes going. And listen, and this is how the school board does it. They go and they say, well, this is a class that you're required to take, and everybody sits in, and then they bring a person up there, and they say, well, we shouldn't say this because this is offensive, and this and that. Listen, if you guys want real change in your school, you make these classes mandatory every quarter. Then they talk about something they learned. But then also teachers, just like mine is, your Facebook page, your social media, all of that is monitored. And if you say something that's out of the way, contrary to what the school believes, you're behind up out of here. It's time to stop playing these games when they put this hurt out in the atmosphere. If I'm teaching you to be a better person, a good person, to do this and do that and respect that person, but the teacher next door to me is hating everybody, we've got to change that message. It's got to be a message of diversity. We need diversity on our school board. So if y'all going to vote for Husfeld or y'all going to vote for Ms. Vandergriff, you got to tell them we need diversity. That's some of the things that need to be talked about. But because of coronavirus, we can't have these meetings right now. But these are some of the things that you need to require from your leaders. It's time out for us just saying that, well, he's been in the seat for so long, he's guaranteed to get it. He's a shoo-in. And then we sit back as a black community and we don't say nothing. We just allow. When our kids deserve education, that's how we're going to get ahead when you start educating our young people. We got to stop being so passively aggressive when it comes to these kids. It's time to get some of their behinds up out of there. You need to go to another school. We need to put you in a program that's going to work for you. And then everybody, all the schools then can come back out on top. It shouldn't be just one school in Panama City that's more powerful than all the other schools. We've got to fix that system. And if we're not talking about diversity, why are we hiring these people? Why are we voting them in the office? It's time to change. And listen, look at me, I don't care about getting a job there no more. I'm beyond being quiet about it. There is time for change because it's not about me. I am what I am right now, and God is going to do things in my life. But this is for my kids. This is for my grandchildren and their children after that. This is for that next generation. We got to stop being quiet. We got to demand diversity on our school board system. We got to demand diversity when it comes to coaching at these different schools. Right now, there are 2 black head coaches that coach sports at schools in Bay County, and both of them are at Rutherford High School. One school, not going to say their name, just got rid of every black head coach they had. Who is talking about this right now? We've got to demand diversity in these schools.
Help me understand, and that's what we're supposed to be doing anyway. At least that's, why I'm in this.
Yeah.
The conversation that you said that, well, it wasn't even a conversation, stuff was said to you about, you said the teacher was teaching the rhetoric. Help me understand, in your experience, and those that have been close to you, would you say, is that a majority of people who are non-minority that you've experienced? Is that a lens that you feel that they look through, or is that a section of society that we know that is there, but is, I'm having trouble verbalizing this. Do you think that is a section of society that is big or is small? How do you view that? Like overall, when you've experienced non-minorities, do they see the world in a threatening way?
They just see the world through their lenses. This particular teacher, her husband is military, so she is more military. She has seen a lot of stuff in the world. Mm-hmm. But, she's looking at it through just her eyes. She's not seeing the bigger picture. Half of them don't have friends that are black. And then, a lot of it is black people. Some of it's our fault because we allow things and we don't say anything right then. I tell all my young people right now, like, why would you let your friends who are not black call you the N-word or say the N-word around you?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I mean, like, we shouldn't be calling that.
No.
We shouldn't be calling each other that anyway.
No.
But why would you allow that to happen? I don't understand it. So, I mean, it's so much stuff that has got to change. And I know when my students saw me, they was like, ooh, I've had students moved out of my class because they had a black teacher. Who got out of my class? Now, the student begged their parents to put them back in the class once everybody told them how great Coach Ty's class is and how Coach Ty is not the one that's going to write you up. He's actually going to talk to you and listen to you and let you have your opinion. I had a parent mad at me from the way that I taught history. In Black History Month, we did the whole month of Black History. When it was Women's Month, we did Women's History, and we still did our book work. Yes. We've got to make our schools more educated. Like I said, Black History they made it an elective. At first it was a class, but then they made it an elective. And it's a reason why, if you look in your history books, I want all y'all parents to go to your kids' history books, that Black history is so far in the back of the book. It's not in the front of the book, because we never make it to the back of the book. We probably make it halfway through. So it needs to be one of those things where it needs to be taught. And I made all my students write Black history papers. And I was waiting for one of their parents to say something. It's a part of the curriculum. They wrote APA formatted papers in elementary school and middle school, 6th graders. So it can be done. And it's just us wanting to do it. But that's got to be us again claiming diversity and monitoring the people who are out there for our kids. Like right now, that certification test for teachers, that's so hard to pass. And they tell you that a majority of the people that can pass that test are not good teachers. Yeah. So there's some things that need to be fixed. But I don't know how we're going to get there on that part of it, but we got to require and request change. And I'm requesting change in Bay County.
Going back to what you were talking about, being about diversity, not just claiming diversity. And this goes all the way up to professional sports too, because we've seen, even in the last month before everything broke out with rioting and protesting, that there was a proposed rule, which started out as the Rooney Rule, the owner of the Steelers, talking about the mandatory interviewing at least one black coach. That's been unsuccessful. Yeah, wildly unsuccessful.
They want to change it. Huh?
So then they wanted to do, in addition to, well, we're going to offer you draft picks, and there were some other just absurd things to incentivize it. And so obviously that got shut down, I think, 2 days after they proposed it. My point in this is the way I feel that things could change is full transparency on the actual people that are trying to apply for these city councilman jobs, these board of directors jobs. We don't see this stuff. No. Is it available? I don't know. If somebody knows what they are, please chime in.
They're not available. The school superintendent can hire his friends.
Well, there you go.
And I say that loosely. They can hire their friends. So you got a bunch of people making hundreds and thousands of dollars, and the teachers are doing the work. Something ain't right.
We need to be able to see, okay, how many people, how many minorities are getting the opportunity and actually taking the opportunity. There needs to be accountability too. Yeah. There needs to be ownership of it. Okay, well, if you have the same opportunities that non-minorities have, take them. Okay. Okay, take them. Be a self-starter. And you've mentioned this a few times that there's a fear there. There's also a complacency there. There is a, hey, I need to try and enact change and not just talk about it. Oh yeah. And so there's a combination for me. The way I see this, it doesn't mean it's right. Mm-hmm. Just the way I see it is there's a gigantic combination of listening skills need to get better. Overall communication skills need to get better. The narrow-mindedness needs to disappear. Yes. The stereotypes need to disappear. The walls that have been built brick by brick need to be taken down. And at the back end of that, there needs to be empowerment. Mm-hmm. That not saying, coming from people of my color saying, hey, you should. No, it needs to come inside the black culture and say, we need to mobilize. Oh yeah. Let's mobilize, and if this is what we truly want, which I know that you do. I know that, and I know it's nothing new. Take a stand. Just get the names out there, find the people who are fit for these jobs, find them,
Yeah.
Push for them, empower them, publicize them, because I don't see these things happening. Doesn't mean that they're not.
Oh yeah, I got you.
But if I'm not seeing it, and I'm always looking,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going to assume that they're not happening. But there's that dangerous word "assume" too. That I did. This was something I wanted to bring up. I was talking to Demi about this too. We as whites and blacks and other people of color need to stop assuming that we know where you came from.
Yeah.
Okay? And that goes both ways. I don't assume, regardless if I know your story or not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to assume by just laying my eyes on you for the first time that I know where you came from. And you shouldn't assume you know where I came from. We are friends because we appreciate each other's story.
Yep.
I gravitate towards you because you're genuine, because you have worked your ass off to get where you are. And it's become equal that you don't judge me as a white guy. You don't think that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. You know my story, that I've been poor my whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm a grinder.
Oh yeah.
Okay? So that helps me love you even more, that you don't assume that because I'm white that I've got more opportunities than you. You see me as somebody parallel, working, teaching, coaching. I've put in the time, I've put in the work, put in the tears, the discouragement, the heartbreak. As human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying that you and I are, the perfect friendship and relationship everybody should have. That's not what I'm saying, so please don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
What I'm saying is if we can do the things that we try to model on this show, not today, but since we started. Yep. Since before we got a show, we were doing this. You and I do. We haven't changed who we are since we met. We
Yep.
parent the same. We coach the same. We teach the same. We speak to strangers the same. We are genuine. We are real. And we do make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And when we make a mistake, we do our darndest to make sure that you understand, wait, this is what I meant. And we don't have enough of that in the world where we go, oh, you said that. That means that's who you are. No. We are human beings. God created us in His image. However, He can't control free will. He can't control what we say, what we think, and what we do. And that's up to us as human beings. And last I checked, color should not come into that.
Yeah.
We are, yes, we do have different colors.
Okay.
Yes, but we, at the end of the day, we're human beings, and we are not doing a good enough job. We haven't been doing it since the beginning of time, and we've got to sit down, and we need to do more of what we're doing today. Not with microphones and all that stuff, but just, hey, come over, let's share a meal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what it takes.
It does, dude. And I don't want to simplify it because people are like, it's not that simple. Well, to me, it's always been that simple. That's how my worldview has always been. I've never looked at somebody's financial status and the color of their skin as a barrier between me and them.
Yeah.
And again, I'm far from perfect. I've made tons and tons of mistakes. But it is our actions, it is our ideologies that do need to change.
Oh yeah.
Our mindsets need to change. And again, I've used the word lenses and the filters. How are we seeing the world? Because it doesn't mean since we see it that way that it's right.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? So
Oh, yeah.
I think that you and I share some of the same frustrations, but obviously you have experiences that I will never have, and I respect that. Okay? I respect that. And again, I will never say, Ty, oh, come on, just stop it. I mean, you're over-exaggerating, blah, 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 blah. No, it's never going to come out of my mouth. I concede from the very moment that, you know what?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have seen this world in a way that I do not.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just all about those life lessons and respecting people. But there is, like, I love Panama City, Florida. This is my home. I was born and raised in Big Harbor, which you call Springfield.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother took me and raised me, and I stayed over in Millville. and spent the rest of my growing up years there. And then, as a man, I've stayed all over town. I've been out of town. I stayed in Tallahassee. I stayed in Virginia, in those different places. And there's always nothing like home.
Right.
But there's times now where like I don't feel like home wants me here, or I shouldn't be here. I've applied for jobs where I knew I was qualified and I could do a lot for those jobs, those schools, those football teams, those whatever. And I was denied those rights for whatever it was. They'll tell you, well, it's just it's all in God's timing, and I believe it is all in God's timing. But the thing is, if you can be that change that's needed, and you're out there, be that change that's needed. So many people want to run away, and just not necessarily run away, but just leave, like they're tired of it here. Yeah. One of the young men I think about is it's no secret, he's my cousin. It's Rod Bush. Listen, I love Rod with everything. I mean, that's my cousin, my brother. That's my.
I still haven't met Rod.
Yeah, that's my dude. But listen, everybody that knows Rod knows he has the biggest heart in the world when it comes to children. White, black, polka dot, it don't matter. If he's going to coach you, he's going to coach you hard, and he's going to love on you. And that's all Rod wants to do, is give back to his community. And what happened to Rod this year with him trying to help out at Mosley and his background, his character, everything was brought into question. And I try not to watch News 13 right now. They really hurt me. They really hurt a lot of people in the community, just how they treated him. I understand you want to bring down a man. I really don't understand that. But to bring down another person to get to another person is not right. Now, they should have interviewed Rod or interviewed Rod's friends, and he would tell them, like, I could have left after the hurricane and went and stayed somewhere that had air conditioning and water and do all of these things, but I stayed back and I fed my community.
Right.
I stayed and I made sure my football players was fed. I've coached young men and given my all and not asked for anything back. That's the person they should have interviewed. But for them to bring up this man's past and put it all on News 13 to make him be a criminal now, that was a disservice to this community.
Well, journalistically, that person who handled it, and I don't know, I'm not going to even say gender, I don't know the person personally, but not impressed. And I'm a harsh critic of anybody in the field, obviously, because I've been in for 25 years, and that's not the way you do things.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk to that person, do it when the cameras are off.
Yeah.
You do it off the record. You don't do any tape recording.
Yeah.
You say, look, I feel like I want to break a story,
Yeah.
but the ethics need to come in and say, okay, I need 20 minutes with you. I've got questions that I need confirmed. And at the end of this, I'm going to ask you, is this something that you feel comfortable moving forward? See, and that's the way I did things when I was in Tennessee. And I wasn't Mr. Popular there.
Yeah.
I didn't work for a major corporate company. I worked for a hillbilly company, it turns out, unfortunately.
Yep.
That I was fired from that because they wanted me to do a story that I was against doing.
Oh yeah.
So I was a victim of standing up for myself. But
it's crazy.
It is. And so in this instance, when you're not trying to make a name for yourself, when you're not baiting someone with questions, you're not popular.
Yep.
And that story should have never ever broke in this town. And again, I've never met Rod, but I have felt so much empathy for him because I know there are men's hearts in this community that are in the right places, and they want to lead these young men who most of them are like either not in their neighborhood or they're right next to them.
Yep.
And all they can do to reach them has to be on a personal level. They can't do it on a football field or a basketball court, and that's tragic.
Yeah, and I mean they have broken him to the point where he doesn't want to coach anymore, and then everybody will say, well, he's putting a lot of, it's not hurtful things, it's him showing you his hurt on Facebook. Somebody that had to deal with the police personally, someone had to deal with the racism in this county, and I just want to let them know, hey, listen, man, I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I pray that you coach again, because right now it doesn't feel like coaching. And a lot of us have that same sentiment. We just don't feel like we've been torn up so much. And you know, my first year, and I'm the guy that's going to always go to. It seems like God always puts me in an area where I'm really not wanted. I started coaching football at Callaway. I don't remember Callaway having like any black people out there, but it wasn't to say that Callaway was great. People just didn't go to Callaway.
Right.
When I came over there, that very next year, the whole culture changed. Callaway started winning because they started having more black people there, more white people all mixed together. And I was like, we are a family. That's your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So in the locker room doesn't know any color. On the football field, doesn't know any color. We are all people. And we started kicking behind because we were better together. And we got to understand that now it's the same sentiment we need to have. You want to have a great economy, we are better together.
Right.
You know, but you got to understand why everybody's talking about the economy. The black dollar is important too.
Yes.
It is important too. And you know, if I was, and listen, they probably don't want me to be a political leader because I would be like, all right, listen, until we get change, all my black athletes, y'all are going to HBCUs. Oprah Winfrey, stop donating your money over to Africa. Go give millions of dollars to FAMU, Howard University. Let's build these schools up, and then let's start seeing what the University of Florida does. Let's start seeing what happens. Do you see the stuff that the Central Florida teacher did?
No.
I got to show you that. There's a professor who has been a professor at the school since 1998. He has about 40 complaints on ethics and how he talked. And he went on Twitter and saying, well, why don't the black people stop killing each other, get off food stamps, and stop being lazy and do this? He was also the same guy that gave his whole class an F because they was arguing Christianity with him. He told them that they had racial bias. So he's been hashtag trending on Twitter like crazy too. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things going on. We got to fix this situation.
You brought up the HBCU. There is a pushing trend that I've seen. There are some 4- and 5-star athletes in America that are going, maybe I can be the change in these historically black colleges.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Because, look, one of my first heroes was Doug Williams.
Yeah.
And then Leroy Selman. Now, Leroy went to Oklahoma, but Doug went to Grambling.
Yeah.
And I proudly have that. I mean, I need to get it displayed, but I don't have a man cave, right? But those are my first 2 autographs.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, exactly. Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture of Doug, all black and white picture of him with the whole, almost a single bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I was thinking in my mind, if these guys choose to, hey, we can be a part of this new thing, and it's called taking our talents to the HBCUs. Mm-hmm. Now, tell me that would be must-see TV, and all of a sudden the broadcasting companies go, whoa, we haven't been showing these guys. This isn't, whoa, and I can see them now getting very uncomfortable.
Yep.
But isn't that where we need to be? I mean, isn't that, we need to be uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Listen, have you been to an HBCU game?
No.
Listen,
you've told me that I need to go.
You got to go to an HBCU
You've told me about that.
There's nothing like it in this world. And it changes. But I mean, like, listen, NFL players, except African Americans, I hate that term, represent 70% of the NFL.
Yes.
If we don't play, you don't have the NFL.
Right.
NBA.
I think it's 85%.
85%. If we don't play, but listen, that's the thing. To To a lot of people, we are seen as just entertainment.
And it's been that way.
And when we actually start having a voice, it scares people. What I'm doing today is not popular. A lot of my friends are probably scared, but guess what? They was never my friends anyway.
Right.
I seen one of my friends last night say something just to leave me. I'm not gonna say exactly what he said, but he needs to call me. So I want to have a conversation with him.
But do you actually think it's going to happen?
Yeah, he'll call.
Okay.
He'll call. I want him to call me because we need to have a conversation together. Because the thing is, you can't love me and hate my people. You can't love me and hate black people. You can't do it. It doesn't go together. Listen, that doesn't. I don't get it because I made a few changes in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am still Rod Bush. I am still Trayvon Martin. I am still Eric Henley. I am still these people. I am still George Floyd. You know, his funeral is going on right now. And somebody just said George Floyd did not want to become popular because of his death.
I don't think
Think about that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be popular
No.
because of their death. But through his death, it is making a conversation that hasn't been had, and you got people protesting in other countries. Like, other countries can look at us and say, this is wrong. Why are y'all not fixing it? Why are y'all changing it? People get mad. Why didn't President Obama do anything when he was... Because, listen, this is what I want everybody to understand. You know, the president only has so much power.
Which is very little.
You have to vote people in that will have his views and that will let laws pass.
Right.
But the thing about President Obama, he just wasn't black people's president. He was our president. So when Trayvon Martin was killed, he was like, my son would look like Trayvon Martin. People ate him up for saying that. But truth be told, he would. So they didn't want him to, and he carried himself like a man at all times. In the face of being called a Muslim, or not worthy, or not an American, and this and so on and so on. And people killed me. But that was true leadership. Was he right for everybody? No, but we got to give a little and take a little. I'm like, listen, as long as you are a great leader, so what if I don't get a lot of money back on my taxes? So what? I mean, I'm not in a position to say that now, but there's a lot of people that, what's a couple 100,000 when you got billions? What does that matter to you? That's a drop in the bucket. That's a night at the casino. People got to realize that, you know, it's about humanity. And if you truly love America, America is supposed to be about justice for all. We forget about the justice for all. It can't just be justice for me and not you. So when a Trayvon Martin gets killed, I don't need my whole Facebook timeline going crazy. Well, he was a thug. He was a child. He had not reached the adulthood of being a man yet. But yet he was followed, chased down, and killed by a man who was told to stand down, and he got off. And it was told that he was standing his ground, but his only weapons was some Skittles and a can of tea. It's the only weapon he had. But everybody looked at it then. This boy was a thug. He was smoking. Who didn't smoke weed in school? Who didn't get suspended? Who didn't get in trouble? Who got in trouble? So, I mean, those are things that we've done in our adolescence. Thank God I'm not judged based on my adolescence.
Right.
But this young man was judged based on his adolescence. We are being judged on things that we can't help. And I can't help my skin tone. I can't help that. Ahmaud Arbery was just taking a job. I see beautiful houses all the time that they're building on. I stop and look. I don't walk up like he did. Some of them I have. I'm like, I'm a structure that I would like to have that in my house. I don't mean, he didn't steal anything out of the house. He didn't have a weapon on him. He didn't have any of those things. But his character then becomes into question. But see, we get to a point where we don't want to talk about when the man killed him, stood over him, and yelled a racial slur. Why were they not arrested right then? Right. Ahmaud Arbery didn't have a voice. Luckily, we seen the guy thought that videotape was going to justify what they did, and everybody saw for themselves how horrible that was. But that's my life every day. I asked one of my good friends the other day, and I asked you the same question. Would you trade places with me?
To find out how you see the world? Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm saying, would you be a black man? You had it like, David, we're going to switch. for the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
would you take that?
Why wouldn't I?
A lot of people would.
No, but I asked you what the question goes back. Why wouldn't I?
A lot of people would, because they know that what I go through, they wouldn't be able to deal with. Chris Rock said one time on one of his comedy shows that he was having the same conversation with a white guy. And he said, hey man, why don't you just trade places with me? I be you for a day, you be me for a day. And the guy was like, nah. And he's like, Chris Rock said, he knew how bad I got treated, but I'm rich and he didn't want to switch with me. He just said, I'm going to ride this white thing on out. And I mean, we don't have that option.
I guess that's where I'm wired different. Is, look, I've never done anything the easy way. Everything I've ever gotten is the hard way.
Yeah.
To my detriment in a lot of cases, making bad decisions. And I would rather find out for myself where you came from, how you see things. Now I can listen, which I always do, but am I ever going to really get it? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would take that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I may be horrified.
Yeah.
I may regret my decision. I may say, "Hey, why'd you ask me to trade with you?" But at least I could say I did.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine being an interracial couple. The looks they get on both sides. You know, I want to say one thing. Tanya's on here and she's really chiming in.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya said something the other night, and Tanya will put you on the spot right here. But Tanya has a son. She has a beautiful big son.
Mm-hmm.
Can play football out of this world. Praying for that young man. Very great young man. But because of what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, her son is an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to go running.
Yes.
And he went to go running one night, and she had to message like her neighborhood to let them know, hey, that's my son out jogging. Don't. He's not doing any harm. He's just jogging.
Right.
And she worried about him until he got home. Now my question to you is, if your son goes out and runs around the neighborhood, are you worried?
Am I worried about Davis?
Yeah.
Not from that aspect. I'm worried about weirdos taking kids.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I mean, we go to even the weirdos taking kids, but think about somebody chasing him down.
No.
And I mean, but that's what happened to this young man. They chased him down and shot. Why not call the police? That's their job, to police. And who knows what would happen then. But why not call them? Why does everybody have to go take the law into their own hand? And that's the part that I don't get. Ahmaud Arbery didn't deserve to die like that in the street. He didn't deserve to die like that in the street at all. And you know, it's a different conversation that we have to have with our kids, and I hate that we have to have that conversation as far as keep your hands on the steering wheel, don't make no certain moves. But you know, the thing is, like, you know, we don't get angry, but it makes you angry. Because out of everything in life, then you put me back to a situation where I feel like a boy. And I'm not a boy. I'm a man. So, you know, I don't understand it. They pull me over, yes sir. No sir, I may not get the same courtesy. I want the same courtesy that everybody else gets. That's all we are asking. And Renee said one more thing I need to get out of it. Black-owned black crime is a phrase created by someone that wanted to deflect the real issues related to how the police and government officials react to the racial inequalities within the criminal justice system, from the police to the prison system. And it's what we call it is whataboutism.
Yeah. You talked about that.
Whataboutism. It's always what about this and what about that, and we just need to deal with the issues on hand. And Aquita Johnson, you are so correct. I told one of my students that one day, I said, everybody want to be black till it's time to be black. Because he wanted to be black. I said, you don't want this. You definitely don't want this. And he didn't get it. He didn't understand until him and all his friends got in trouble. Because I always told him, if you arrived in a car with somebody and one person has drugs, everybody got drugs. So you're all going to jail. And then he was like, no, I want to call my mom. And I'm like, no, you wanted to be black.
Yeah.
So this is what it feels like, unfortunately, and it doesn't feel good every day. But when I get to have these conversations with you, this makes it a lot better. When I see my friends on Facebook that say, Ty, I get it. Coach Paley, I don't know if he's still on here, but when I was hurting at my worst, Coach Paley texted me and said, hey, Ty, I got you 6. And I was like, dang, it just changed my whole mood. Terry Tatum, I know he's probably not on here, but listen, Terry Tatum is one of those people that I work with at Pepsi. And I knew Terry from middle school. And I didn't think Terry liked me very much when we were at Pepsi. But the most ironic thing happened with Terry. I started a Bible study class at Pepsi. And I taught everybody about Jesus. Terry had so many questions and kept getting closer and closer to God and became a pastor and decided to leave his career at Pepsi to go preach.
Okay.
Terry was one of the first people that called me and said, Ty, what can I do to fix this? And me thinking about how I felt about Terry at the time when I worked with him at Pepsi to what the man that he is now, it showed me everything that I need to see about his character. And I love him for it. So don't think that I'm prejudiced and that I'm racist. I'm not. I just want equality.
Right.
And Terry showed me himself. You said something to me very interesting the other night that I didn't even know. And this is what we have been doing as a community. I know we got to go. But you told me, you said, man, just to see you take care of a man who treated you so bad, like in that instant, you became like his son or his dad because he could have died in this situation. And I was making him get off the bus, go to the hospital, get checked out. I was like, when this bus is not leaving what you wanted, you're going to get checked.
Yeah.
For him to turn around and treat me even worse than what he treated me before. So there's a reason why I'm not at certain places, and people were quick to bash me when they see me on other sidelines, but there was a reason behind that. And the thing is, you gotta ask me. So I'm here today to stand up for minorities. I'm here to stand up today for gay people, LGBT community. I want to be correct on that. I'm here today to stand up for women. You know, women principles go through a whole lot when it comes to dealing with men that we don't know about.
Yeah.
There's so many underlying issues, and there's one particular woman I can think in my mind, and I'm just praying with you because you deserve better than what you got, and I pray that everything that you ask for, God gives it to you, because what happened to her career should never happen to any human being in the world. And she's not a black woman. She is a woman.
Okay. Oh, I guess that's Demi speaking up for women.
Oh, my bad, dude. You scared me there. But we've got to look at that. Women are discriminated against more than just about anybody, white, black. We got to figure that situation out. And we got to start asking these questions. Why aren't there more women principals? Why? I mean, I would love to see a woman lead this country right now. Because I think women are just that powerful. And what we need right now is a woman to lead, because she's going to nurture the whole situation. Men don't know how to nurture the situation. We want to put a Band-Aid on it and cover it up. But right now, I'm praying for that woman. She is a beautiful soul. She is a beautiful spirit. And I'm not going to put all her business out there. But just know that I love you and you are truly missed. And if I offended anybody today, I don't care. You need to check something within yourself, because I'm here for humanity. I'm not saying anything racist. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm for all people. White, black, polka dot, don't matter. I'm here for all of you. But I just want to know, why are we continuing to be treated so bad? And we got to fix that. And we got to have a lot more conversations and have a lot more discussions. And we can't be afraid to ask. We got to start asking, and then we got to start demanding that we get diversity, that women are treated just as fairly as men. They deserve to be paid too.
I've been saying that for years.
So that's why I'm here today. And like I said, if I offended you, listen, I don't care. You got to check something within yourself, because this is not about you. It's about all of us. It's about our grandkids, my kids' kids. And that's why I'm fighting today, not just for time. Thoughts, Coach?
I I want to say thank you for allowing me to be your friend. I'm getting emotional. This is how much it means to me that I'm sick and tired of this stuff. I'm hurting too, not even nearly as much, but I'm hurting too. And it needs to stop. I don't have it figured out, but I'm trying. And I hope that a lot of other people can say that they don't have it figured out, but they're trying. It's going to take a long, long time to undo many, many generations of wrong. It's not going to happen even close to overnight. Probably won't happen while we're still here. But like you said, it's about our kids and their kids and the kids that come after that. And I hope that we can be some small part of the solution. I hope that we can be some small part of moving forward in the correct direction once and for all. And I mean, not just once and for all as a statement, but once and for all people. It's hard. Life is really hard. We can't get through it alone. We can't get through it with staying with our own cultures. We need to start speaking to other cultures and go to their barbecues and sit at their dinner tables, go to their churches, mingle with them, fellowship with them, break bread with them, laugh with them, cry with them. Put your arms around each other, not because it looks good for a photo op. Do it because you felt in your heart that you see them the same as you. Doing the right thing is not just a movie by Spike Lee. Doing the right thing is feeling truth in your heart that when you look at your brother or your sister and they're not your blood, but you consider them to be that, that's when you know that change is happening. Thank you all for inviting us into your lives today. Thank you all for, if you've been here the whole time, thank you so much.
One thing, everybody keep asking me why I got this suit on. Everybody that was late to the party. Listen, when Dr. King went out and protested, and those guys, they always had a suit on. It let everybody know that they came not to be nonviolent. They came to just for a peaceful protest. And I'm protesting a lot of things today. And I also told you that, it was against the law for black men to wear suits back then unless you were a preacher or a teacher.
Right, preacher or teacher.
So black men wanted to wear suits. So I encourage all y'all to dress up today. Let's get our protest on. Let's talk to each other. Coach Ford, man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to know you, man.
Thank you for being here.
And all my people on Facebook, I love y'all. I see all y'all comments. Everybody has been a blessing. I know it offended and hurt some folks, but as Pastor Williams used to tell me, it's right, but it's tight. It's tight, but it's right. So let's get it, guys.
Everybody, God bless you all for being here. Many blessings. We will get through this. We will get through this. We must stick together. We must communicate. We must speak. But the main thing is we need to listen. Stop talking so much and listen and watch and learn and be more empathetic. That's a word that I know a lot of people just don't understand, and they're not good with empathy, people. Empathy is something that is deep from your soul that you have got to try to be that. You've got to try to work on that. I got to work on it more. Everybody does. Moving forward, J.O.B podcast is back. And we came back big today. I'm proud of what we did today. I will never forget today.
They stayed with us 2 hours.
Yes. That's a testament to all of you who we mean something to you and you mean a lot to us. And again, thank you for allowing us in your lives for today, in the middle of the day. Please stay safe out there. We still have a pandemic that's going on. We're going to come back with different kinds of shows, more sports oriented, get back to our roots, fun stuff that makes you laugh, gets you emotional, because we all need sports in our life.